If you've ever struggled to stay consistent with healthy eating or you feel overwhelmed by trying to plan your meals, this video is for you. Today I'm sharing 4 super easy high protein recipes that are not only delicious but super quick and easy to make, especially if you're busy. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Anna and I lost 40 pounds going from this to this by changing my diet and lifestyle. And I share content weekly to help others become the best version of themselves. I feel like when you try to start eating healthier, or maybe you're starting your fitness journey, it's easy to feel just overwhelmed and confused by the types of foods that you're supposed to eat and what really is considered clean eating. What is healthy eating? So I'm also going to be sharing my top tips for eating healthy consistently without feeling restricted. Let's make healthy eating something fun, manageable, and something that you can stick with for the long run. To kick this off, we are making an easy, healthy Mexican themed dinner. In a medium pan, you're going to want to add some sort of oil. I use this avocado spray oil just to make sure the meat doesn't stick to the pan. Then you're going to add your meat of choice. I use beef and I was having a really hard time getting out of the package for some reason. Now it's time for our seasonings. I added salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, chili powder, and a little cumin. Then I went ahead and mixed all that around just to spread the seasoning. And then for some veggies, I added these red and green peppers and onions. Also, to help add in some more color, I added some of this corn that we had in the freezer. That's one of my tips, that if you're trying to make more healthy meals, make sure your plate has lots of color. While chicken and rice does have lots of protein and it is healthy, it's a very yellow and white meal. So you can try adding in like leafy greens or spinach or just anything to help add more color to the plate. Then in a medium pot, we are going to go ahead and make some rice. Now a tip that I have, if you're trying to make your rice more flavorful and add some more protein in, add some bone broth. Bone broth has a ton of protein in it and it will help make your rice more nutrient dense. Then I'm just going to go ahead and let that sit so we can make some guac to add in some healthy fats. I used 2 medium avocados and then I went ahead and sliced them up and scraped out all the good stuff from the inside. For seasoning, I just added all the same ones that I used on the meat. Then it's time to take your little masher, mash all of that up, mix the seasonings in, and ta-da, you have super easy 5-minute guac. Then I went ahead and plated everything for my boyfriend and I. I started with the rice and just kind of layered the beef and veggie mix on top. I added some cheese on my boyfriend's bowl. This is the said boyfriend in question. Then I topped mine off with some guac and this was the final result. It looks gross, but it was so bomb. This is my boyfriend actually taste testing his meal.
Good.
Next, we are making these high protein mini breakfast pancakes. To make them, you're going to need a blender, a banana, flour, baking powder, cinnamon, an egg, and a protein powder of your choice. In your little blender cup, you're going to add in your banana, your flour, your egg, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and then a scoop of protein powder of your choice. I'm using this vegan one from Owen, and I will have it linked down below. You're also going to add in 3 tablespoons of water. Then it's time to mix all of this up in your blender. And then in a medium pan, I'm going to go ahead and add some oil. And then you're going to start scooping out your batter into little mini pancakes. Do not be like me and think that you can make one giant pancake. This batter is best made for little mini pancakes. Then you're just going to let them cook until you start to see those little bubbles appear on the top. And that is how you'll know that it is time to flip them over. And then you just repeat the steps until you run out of batter. It usually takes me 2 or 3 rounds and they only take less than 5 minutes to cook. It would probably take less time if you had an even bigger pan. Then I like to lay mine all out on a plate so I can top them with usually fruit, but maybe chocolate chips or some type of jam. And of course I had to add syrup. And then this is the final result. They are so good and so quick and easy to make. This is my favorite high protein pancake recipe that I have found so far. Next, we are making a high protein spaghetti squash and ground turkey bowl. Start by preheating your oven to 400 degrees, and then in a large sheet pan, you are going to cut a spaghetti squash in half. I actually discovered that mine was too firm to be able to cut in half, so I ended up puncturing a bunch of holes in it before putting it in the oven to roast. Then in a medium pan, I added in some oil and then some ground chicken that we're going to put in the spaghetti squash. Then to season mine, I added salt, Italian seasoning, thyme, onion powder, oregano, black pepper, and some garlic powder. Then you're gonna go ahead and stir all of that around. And then I thought that I was actually making headway because I could get the knife into the spaghetti squash, but I discovered that it did not matter how hard I tried, which way I tried to cut it, or how much pressure I applied. I was not going to cut this thing in half. I'm just not strong enough. So when my boyfriend got home from work, he so graciously did it for me. Then I coated the 2 halves with olive oil and some salt before flipping them over to roast in the oven for another 40 minutes. I let mine cook actually for a few more minutes because I wanted more of a crispy edge. And then you take a fork and you just pull them apart to make like little spaghetti noodles. Then I just put the ground chicken inside of the spaghetti squash to make like little bowls. This is how they turned out. Again, they look kind of weird, but these turned out so freaking good. We had some leftover mashed potatoes, so I decided to reuse that for a cozy high protein meal. In a medium pan, of course I oiled it, and then I went ahead and added in my beef and followed it up with adding tons of seasonings. I added salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, thyme, basil, onion powder, garlic powder, and then I went ahead and mixed all of that up. Then for a veggie, I grabbed a can of green beans, went ahead and opened that, drained it all the way, and then I threw it in a pot to heat up. And then in another small pot, I heated up the rest of the corn that we had in the freezer. Back with the meat, I added some black pepper, and then this part is a little weird, but you're gonna add in some ketchup. This is gonna help give it some of that meatloaf flavor. I also went ahead and sprinkled in some breadcrumbs to help with the texture. In a small pan, I had melted down some butter, threw in the mashed potatoes along with a splash of milk. And then to make this meal just a little bit more cozy, I decided to make some melted herb butter. I followed with all the usual seasonings: salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, Italian seasoning, all that good stuff. This is the final result. It is a bit of a heavier meal, but still high protein and super cozy for the wintertime. First, if it's not in the house, you can't eat it. When you go to the grocery store, stock your kitchen full of healthy staples like lean meat, rice, potatoes, fruits, veggies, nuts, Greek yogurt, etc. It makes it easier to make healthy food choices when that food is already there in front of you. If you're like me, I'm a visual eater, so I don't necessarily crave certain things, but like if you put a donut in front of me, I'm gonna eat the donut, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get a donut. So if I have healthy things in front of me, then that's what I have to eat. For the nights that you feel lazy, I know after a long hard day, then you went to the gym, then you worked on your personal projects, whatever it may be, the last thing that you want to do is cook, especially some sort of healthy meal. So you know what you do, girl? Chicken nuggets and rice. Listen, my boyfriend and I both work jobs. I do content creation part-time. We have a lot going on. We don't always feel like cooking. So every week we make sure we have that 5-minute rice and a big bag of chicken nuggets so that when we're feeling lazy, but we still want a decent chicken and rice kind of meal, we have it. Still get your protein in. It's fairly simple. Dinner's made in 15 minutes. Pack your lunch. If you work, this is one of the best things that you can do for yourself to set yourself up for success. It could be as simple as a sandwich, yogurt, a cheese stick, and some fruit. But if you go ahead and pack your lunch, A, you're gonna save money because you're not going out to buy lunch, and B, you already have a healthy meal pack. You're also saving yourself time and mental energy because instead of having to rush out and go get food and make sure you're back on time, you can just eat, relax, and decompress from the morning. Prioritize protein in every meal. Protein helps keep you satiated and fuller much longer than if you have something high in carbs. Plus, the protein will help with those gym gains. Stay hydrated. A lot of times I find that I'm craving a certain beverage like an iced latte or an Olipop, when in reality I just need water. All I would be doing is just drinking calories, when in reality my body's like, girl, give me some water. Simplify your meals. If you are starting out or you're just feeling overwhelmed by the types of meals to make, just think of your meals as protein, carb, veggie. Grilled chicken, rice, spinach. Super simple, easy. You can season it, flavor it to however you like, but just stick with the basics. As you get more comfortable, explore in the kitchen, try new recipes, keep things interesting, but don't overwhelm yourself. And lastly, swap out your favorites. Nowadays, there are so many healthier options for the conventional things that we grew up eating, or you can even try making your own versions at home. That way you can still enjoy these things, but you have a healthier alternative. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you like seeing this kind of self-help content to build your best self, then make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok for all my short form content, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.